Welcome back to the county seat. Our topic today is indigent defense, and we've gotten off to a good start about the system and some of the problems that exist with it. It is difficult on a financial side for many of the rural counties to do this. And as we mentioned, it's also difficult for the rural counties to be able to find the attorneys, monitor their performance, and monitor their contracts to make sure that we really are serving indigent defense at the level that it needs. So one of the topics that comes up is have this go to a state office. And that really is the prevalent model across the nation, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
In most states, the state has at least some involvement, whether through funding, oversight. It's a spectrum. The vast majority of states, 48 states, provide at least some state funding, at least. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have fully operated state offices. And all of the states kind of fall somewhere within that spectrum. So Utah really is kind of an outlier in the sense that it is zero state involvement.
But it's at a county level and in such a way that I think it functions better. Let me make my argument, and I know it may not be received well, but the reality is it has, at a local level, and it's smaller and immediate that it can be responding to. When counties can reach out and pick someone within their community or an adjoining community who knows that community, who knows the law enforcement officers, who knows the court systems that they're dealing with, they can respond in a much quicker fashion than I suggest having someone in Salt Lake traveling all the way to St. George to provide legal services. I think that person who's sitting in jail, they want to see somebody. If they're sitting in the Summit County Jail, they want to see someone that week.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think, a state office or state involvement means necessarily one that you need to have a huge bureaucracy in Salt Lake or bureaucrats in Salt Lake telling folks in St. George what they can or can't do or providing all of the lawyers. I think that at a bare minimum, what you need is for ultimate responsibility to lie somewhere. That the buck stops with the state, right? That if legal services aren't being provided, say, in St. George, that someone's ultimately responsible. And the Constitution in Gideon says that has to be the state at some level.
But it is. You've got county attorneys who are sworn, who take an oath to uphold the law. And Gideon says that they're entitled to representation. I can't imagine a county attorney today, anywhere in the state of Utah, saying, boy, let's get the cheapest, least experienced defense attorney and put him in the box with the guy, the defendant. It just isn't going to happen. We want to see that those people are educated, well, and prepared and ready for court.
But David, the county attorney shouldn't be involved in that process of selecting those attorneys, should they?
No, they should not. Those attorneys should make an application to the county, and in Summit County, it's made to the county clerk. The county clerk does the interviewing, and in consultation with our county commission, hires that individual. I have heard, and it's been shared during the break here, that there is a concern that maybe some counties have county attorneys that give feedback. Well, it happens in every form of hiring, I suppose. What have you heard about someone's ability to be ready for court? Are they someone you can work with? That's the nature of just hiring in county government all across the entire state of Utah. But that county attorney generally is not making that final decision and shouldn't.
What about the areas of support? Because, this is one thing that most people probably don't think of in indigent defense. I didn't think of it until I heard your conversation. Investigators, backup support, things of that nature that a rural attorney may have some limited resources to. Is there a larger subset or even maybe a multi-county, like you have associations of governments for smaller subsets where, 5 of the southern Utah counties will get together on health care. Maybe indigent defense is one of those things.
Yeah, and we do have a model for that with death penalty cases. A lot of Utah counties have pooled their resources together for cases that involve aggravated murder cases. And those are a lot harder to prosecute and involve a lot more resources on both sides.
And our model contract will address that issue. If a defense attorney feels that they need an investigator to look at an issue, there is a process for which they can make that request. And it's not to me. It's to the court or to the hiring entity, in this case, the county clerk in Summit County.
Great. Listen, we've run out of time for this segment. We'll be right back to continue our conversation on indigent defense here on the county seat. Great conversation. Stay with us.
Anything worth doing in this quiet little town?
You strike me as the kind of girl that likes a manicure and a massage.
I was hoping for something a little more vigorous.
Vigorous, I can do.
And I thought you'd be riding side saddle.
What? I'm gonna regret this.
Believe it or not, summer isn't far away, and neither is Juab County. There's no need to travel far to find that perfect family adventure. June 30th, get your blood pumping at the Juab County Xtreme Enduro. You've never seen a race like this. In mid-July, join us for our Ute Stampede Rodeo. And then in August, there's the big Demolition Derby that wraps up our county fair. Juab County. It'll change your family forever.
How do you describe the perfect destination? Mark your calendar for May 10th through the 12th for the Old School Rock Crawl in Delta, Utah. Big power, tires, and rock. Come see who can beat the best off-road track in the state. Pick your adventure in Millard County.
In order for there to be adventure, there must first be a land that offers it. In order for there to be discovery, there must first be something undiscovered. It's time you discovered northeastern Utah's dinosaur lands, the trails, water, beauty, and history that have been 65 million years in the making. Take your journey to a destination where adventure is only limited by your imagination. Join us in Uinta County, Undiscovered Utah.